It's Kina Knisley with Real Talk About Real Estate, and I'm with Keller Williams in Honolulu. And today I have Jennifer Messina from Tampa, Florida. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. It's so good to see you.
Yes, it's super fun. So, how's the market in Tampa right now? Are your houses selling?
There's a phrase in real estate, listings are lasting and buyers are liars. And I will say right now, my listings are actually lasting. My buyers are buying though. It's funny, Tampa has gone down about 4%. The housing prices have gone down about 4%, believe it or not, in the last year. And so we are seeing things sitting on the market a lot longer than we used to. I would say new housing is still kind of thriving because they're offering all these crazy incentives and the interest rates and that sort of thing. So a lot of my buyers, frankly, are gravitating towards newer construction or new construction. But yeah, we're taking a little breather here in Tampa.
Yeah, that's here they're offering the special interest rate, $5,000 credit, but our special interest rate is 5.99. And I talked to someone, Vegas, the builders are offering 3.99. So they're
Wow.
really cutting the throats of the resales.
Right.
What are they averaging in your market?
About 4.99, so right there in the middle. Although I will say we've gotten some crazy concessions. I think my last closing that I did with new construction, we had $29,000 in closing costs, concessions, which is huge. They didn't show up to the table with anything. So there are some great deals to be had out there. In Tampa, just so you know, if you look at Tampa and you draw a circle around it, most of the newer construction, we're not on an island, so you got to go north, south, or east. You don't go west because west is the coast. So people are having to drive a little bit further if they work near the airport or they work near downtown. But I think for the trade-off of the 4.99 and huge incentives, that's what buyers are looking for.
Yeah, but our resales just can't compete. They just don't have
I
enough
know.
meat on the bone, right? So
Right.
what's the average price point in Tampa right now?
In Tampa right now, it's about 438,000.
Oh, well, that's you could buy a few houses for what one costs here.
I
Sorry.
know, I know,
Our average
right?
is like 115. So go to Tampa, buy
That's
three houses.
that's great, right? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy that your average price point is over $1 million.
It is. And my heart hurts for people. I mean, I sell them. Don't get me wrong, people buy them.
Hmm.
You can qualify, just it's like
Right.
eating an elephant one bite at a time. You're not buying all
Right.
at once. You're
Right.
you're not paying them $1 million right today.
Right now. Yeah.
So yeah, it is. It's just daunting sometimes too, the cost. So who's moving to Tampa? What are your buyers that are moving into town? What do they do?
A lot of them are going through life changes, right? So we've got, I see a lot of people coming from North Carolina or Tennessee, further up north. I mean, obviously, we have people coming in from like New York and that sort of thing. But for whatever reason, I'm getting a lot of people that are coming in from what we call halfback, right? So you start in New York, then you go to Florida, and then you go to like Tennessee or North Carolina. But for whatever reason, I'm seeing people starting to come back down south. So last year, as you know, we got hit really hard with two bad hurricanes back to back. So I will say, I think that's affected a lot of people. I was working at the time of the hurricanes with two buyers, both of which wanted coastal property and both of which changed their mind. So I think the dynamic, frankly, in the market is changing. There's more value now on homes that don't require flood insurance. That's the one question I get the most often these days is, well, is it going to require flood insurance? So that's a hot ticket item these days as people are still kind of reeling from the different hurricanes that we had last year.
Yeah, we have that issue here too, just because we're surrounded by water. We haven't been hit
Yeah,
by hurricane in the 13 years I've been here. We've not been hit by one.
knock on wood.
But yeah, but that it's the mitigation of the erosion, which is an issue. So I don't know if you guys are having those issues. I mean, we have houses right up against, and all the land has eroded away.
Yeah.
So
That's not as big of a concern here. I moved from California. I've been in Tampa for 15 years, but it was a huge concern in California. I have all these cliff homes, but in Florida, for whatever reason, we like to build them closer. We don't have those hills and mountains,
yeah.
so we're just pretty much at sea level.
Yeah. So no, so that is great. So what about investing? Is Tampa a good place? Can you buy something to cash flow? Um,
Absolutely. So, especially now, again, going back to the hurricane, so many of these homes were flooded out, and people just don't want to start over, right? So, we do have a lot of great deals if you're willing to be on the coast and you're willing to put some sweat equity into a home that maybe was completely on the inside, had to be gutted. There's a permit process and that sort of thing. But I would say, typically in Tampa, it's a great investors market. Obviously, we've got people coming in from all over. We've got a military base here. We've got short-term rentals, but we've opened up. Unfortunately, we've opened up a new investment opportunity here in Tampa, and that's taking on the projects for the people that were devastated during the hurricanes.
yeah, so that's like a great burr opportunity, right? For the people that buy, rehab, rent, or
Yeah,
finance. But wow. Now, what
yeah.
about short-term rental laws? Can people buy those beachfront homes and rent them out nightly, or are there, do they?
No, no. Yeah, the short-term rental, I don't know how it is in Hawaii, but the short-term rentals here in this area are run by different cities and municipalities. So it's not like a Florida, it's not Florida standard. So depending on where you are, a lot of these coastal communities won't allow, a 7-day rental or a 4-day rental. It has to be 30 days or more, 60 days or more. So there's not as much as you would think, there's not a lot of places that right by the coast that allow those short-term rentals.
Yeah, they tighten the laws up here. It's
Hmm.
a very small resort zone, which is like Waikiki, that we can do nightly. Some in Koalina, some in Turtle Bay, but those are, million, 2 million.
Right.
Yeah, they've tightened those up here too. I mean, I don't know. I kind of swing both ways. Guess I wouldn't want
Right.
the house next door. Would I want it to be, people coming and going every few dates? No.
Right.
But do I
Right.
think, they are, I do own some in resort zones on the mainland,
Right.
in someone's neighborhood. But yeah, so it's kind of, I don't know, touch and go. But now what about the fun things to do? What is there to do in Tampa?
Oh my gosh. I love Tampa. Like I said, I moved from California. I was living in Los Angeles. And when I moved to Tampa, Tampa's like the big city that never was, right? Like we have everything, but it's still not crazy. It's not crazy busy. The traffic's not terrible. The cost of living is still reasonable. So we have sports teams. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we have the Tampa Bay Rays. There's a place called the Stratus Center, which is downtown. They do Broadway shows, the beaches. You can get to the beach pretty much from anywhere in Tampa in about 40 minutes. So it's a great big city, but still kind of has that little city feel, which I absolutely love.
So wow. So now are there like a lot of little suburbs, or is Tampa just one, like we're just kind of one big blob here on the island
Right,
and
right.
everything's grown into, not to call us a blob, but it is paradise. But we've
No,
all
that's
turned into each other.
right. No, that's a great question. I would say, and that's one I work with a lot of out of state buyers, and that's one thing that's very important to me when I'm working with my out of state buyers is to figure out what their lifestyle looks like, right? Because I tell people I can find you the perfect house in an imperfect neighborhood all day long. So let's figure out what neighborhood you want to be in. So we have everything from a place called Seminole Heights, which is 1920s bungalows, many of which have been remodeled, but they've kept the historic feel. We've got our coastal properties for people that, maybe don't have kids and are not as worried about a school zone. Then we have other places where you have a lot of families that are gravitating towards it because they feed into the schools that people want to feed into. So we have something for everyone. I had a buyer once. He was moving here from Las Vegas. He was 42 years old. He was single, no kids, and he was talking to people that lived in the community, and everyone was telling him, you've got to live here, you got to live here. Well, guess what, they were all family people with kids. And so once we did our buyer's consultation, I'm like, I can assure you that's not the neighborhood for you. You want to be over in Pinellas County. And that's where he ended up buying. So sometimes it's just about understanding the
Yeah.
lifestyle more than it is about the house, because I feel like with Zillow, everyone can figure out what homes, everyone can look at homes online, right? But if you don't know the area and you don't know the communities and you don't know the commute times, that sort of thing, we can find a great house, but it might not be a great fit for you for your lifestyle. So that's one thing I really harp on.
Yeah. So no. So what else would you like people to know about Tampa?
Um, we got plenty of room. We got houses sitting here. So, if you're looking to move to the Tampa Bay area, I can find you a home, and actually, I can find you a great deal. And all joking aside, like I mentioned, that the housing prices have come down in the last year, and so we have some great opportunities to really pick up a great house at less than it would have been a year ago.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. This has been great. So this has been Jennifer Messina in Tampa, Florida. And if you know anybody that wants to buy, sell, or invest in Tampa, just give me a call and I can get you connected. All right. Thanks.